let us start our day. And as per our schedule today, we have to do what we have to do? We have to do the adaptive project management. So in adaptive project management, first I will explain you the basics of Agile, what it is and what so on. And I'll move on frequently in the slides and the desk in the whiteboard, so we can actually make it more interactive. So in Agile project management or adaptive project management, it was early created in 2000 when 17 owners of big software houses, or you can say that development or innovation projects, they sat down together to resolve the problem of programming, having the mindsets, having the framework to be established. So the project management or the software project management can be done in a better way. Because at that time there was a shortage of programmer, everyone was doing in their own way. And if everyone will be doing their own way, we cannot manage or control the outcomes of the projects. So for that, all these people agreed to resolve the problem and come up with an idea of agile project management. So they can work together. Anyone who will do the project at that time in the software management, they have to follow these frameworks of agile. For that, they release something called as Agile Manifesto. What is Agile Manifesto? That they made it clear, they all agreed based upon their consensus that in software project management, individuals and their interactions are more important than following the processes and tools. You can make construction projects or hard type of projects based upon process without even visiting the site. You can make it because you know there is always something with the process. But it can deliver the output maybe, but it will not bring the outcome. It will not bring the required value. So they said to work and deliver something which is not known, and you are working for something new to establish it to make it better. Individuals and their interaction is more important than following the process and tools. If I say in any industry now, it has become the regime that it is happening. If like while explaining, I got the same example that if I don't motivate you, if I don't send you the messages continuously on the group, if I just follow the way of process and tools that I provided you training, and that's it, hats off. I gave you training in a very good quality, whatever it was possible. And after that, you know, and your time knows. So I would have delivered the project, but outcome should not have come. The people who have passed, 1,000 plus people have certified. How they have become certified? Because I have been interacting with them individually to understand their needs, their problems, what they are going through, to guide them, to give them the customized things like how they can study, what they can study. We can find out what are their areas of problems, so we can help them instead of just the typical training thing is uh, I'm giving the training. After that, I don't know. Similarly, in many companies like Siemens and Worldays and so on, when they provide training, they have a proper learning and development systems. When they provide training, they check in the work and they have modules defined like this. So after finishing their training, they give you the related task to check that what you have learned, are you able to adapt it? Otherwise, in organization, what happens? Training is provided. Okay, it was a checklist because we needed to finish the budget, so we finish the checklist. But is there any benefit of the training? The people who were coming there, they were just coming for the training, or they were coming to have their coffees and the snacks, and that's it. So that was the purpose, or they wanted a day off from their work, so they came here to attend their training so they can run away from their work. So this is the disadvantage when you are working with the process and tools. So instead of that, if we engage the people, we can bring the better value in a project. Right after that, we have comprehensive documentations. In predictive, we have a lot of comprehensive documentation. We are not saying don't do that. We are saying whatever is applicable, do that, but do not waste more time in producing those things. Because comprehensive documentations are about high tech and low touch, which means not everyone can understand. And we need an experienced resource to make it with the experienced softwares and so on. So it requires comprehensive documentation where a lot of time is spent for the user to finish the task and so on. And then you submit the reports, and they are not all the time, they are accurate. So they said, no, we will measure the work. progress with the working softwares, with the features, instead of just keep doing the things that, okay, I don't know, I know this, I don't know, I do this. So in that case, what happens? We use information radiators. We keep the environment and information transparent, which is the principle of Agile also, which is transparency, adaptability, resilience, inspection. So we will measure with the working softwares instead of wasting our time on the comprehensive documentation. And now you have seen many organizations have the concept of dashboards where they have the live updates on the data on the progress, which is more beneficial than producing the comprehensive reports. So you can prepare the information radiators or the dashboards based upon the communication management plan, that who needs what information, how, when, which format. We were doing the same thing in comprehensive documentation, but we can make it more better in terms of dashboards or information radiators. And when you will keep negotiating for the things, ultimately you will lose the value. You may get the output in the cheapest cost, but value might not be able to be achieved what you're expecting from them. So better to work in collaboration. If you're working for something which is not known and you are negotiating, what you are negotiating with? Just the cost? Maybe you are escaping the features which may be beneficial for you. So customer collaboration is more important, just to keep that engaged, instead of just contract negotiations that you are contracting. I will give you this, I will not give you this, I will give you this, I will not give you this. It happens in tangible products only, that if you buy something, so like nowadays, iPhone is coming without charger. So, okay, the value of iPhone is being delivered or not, you have the charger or not. So these type of things, like contract, you are negotiating on the contract to reduce the price. But when you're reducing the price, are you able to cope up with the requirements, what you needed actually? Maybe you don't need, or maybe you don't know now. Maybe later on you will find out, oh yeah, I needed it, but now I already signed the contract, so I'm not provided. Like I heard about another customer. He said, "Nan, we ordered something, and the person who was doing it, he was not subject matter expert, so he finished the order. And once he received the order, so it was missing the online manuals for that, which means for there was a manual for every user, so they can access those things online also. There's resources online. So when that person asked, "Where is the online manual?" He said, "Which online manual?" Said, "By default, it comes with it." Said, "Yeah, but it comes with a cost. And you were just negotiating for the price. You were not negotiating what items you need. You are very smart. So if you are trying to be very smart, then you will just get what you needed. So you have something, but you are not able to use it as you want it to be. So that is what, instead of negotiating the contract, collaborate so you can get more benefits out of the project. And if you keep following the plan, you can never have innovation, you can never have changes. So better to adapt to changes as early as possible, because the early you will adapt to change, the cost will be less, risk will be less. The further you will go, it will increase more. So they all came up with this Agile manifesto, that individuals and their interactions are more important over following the processes and tools. We'll measure the software with the features which you have delivered instead of documentations. We will collaborate more instead of contract negotiations, and we will respond to change as early as possible instead of just keep following the plan. We don't want changes. So based upon these four Agile manifestos, which they ask one or two questions from here in the exam also. So you need to remember that anyway. There are 12 principles. They will not be the part of your direct exam because they are more towards Agile and mostly comes in the ACP certification or PMI. And if you remember these four Agile manifestos, they are actually elaboration of those things. So if you remember those four, you can easily understand these things. That Agile principle says our task is to deliver the satisfaction, not just the deliverable. We have to welcome the change as early as possible. We have to deliver frequently instead of keep thinking for the best from the beginning and we are unable to deliver it. We have to work together in collaboration, increased collaborations. We have to work in trust and support. As a project manager, I have to be a servant leader. I have to provide a psychological safe environment where team member feels what we call it fearless while making the mistakes, because they know that their mistakes will not be going into the danger zone. Instead, they will be appreciated that at least you tried something. We prefer in Agile, face-to-face conversation is better. So at least we can see the body language, we can understand the things. So participation can be more visible rather than just on the virtual things. And we'll measure with the working softwares, and we will do the sustainable development, which means we will not carry the technical debts. Whatever the errors are, we will solve them at the time of when we are working. Like a very simple example I used to give you guys, that if there are 80 hours in a week, so 80 hours do not mean that you'll be doing all 80 hours new work. Maybe some hours you are doing the new work, some hours you are doing the old work, some hours you are doing the technical troubleshootings, implementations, integrations, supports, trainings. It includes all. So we will not carry any technical debt. So at the end of the phase or iteration, we have a lot of errors, or at the end of the project, we have an inventory of the errors. No, we will not do it like this. We'll go with the sustainable development. So we don't have any inventory at the end. And we will work with continuous attentions, which means we'll keep trying, we'll keep checking, we'll work with the proof of concept, we'll work with the prototypes in a better way. We'll keep inspecting the quality, we'll make the processes in a way so we can reduce the quality mistakes and those requirement mistakes. And for that thing, we will work in T-shaped self-organizing team, what we call them cross-functional generalizing specialists. They're good at one thing, but they can do other things also. And whatever we are doing, we will reflect and adjust, like retrospect. We can improve continuously throughout the project. So these are the 12 principles of Agile, which are actually the elaboration of those 4 points of Agile Manifesto. When you are doing the work, do like this. And I always say this approach, simplicity, keep it simple and small. Don't try to produce bigger items. Because if you will think bigger, okay, you know the final product. But if you will think for the bigger feature, cost and risk will increase. So if you try on a simple and small capacity, it will give you the guidelines how you can move on. So I keep saying in many of my trainings that the majority of the people who work here in Middle East, they have been working in oil and gas industry, construction industry. So they are unable to cope up, or they are not very supportive towards the agile mindset, because agile is not, sometimes many students ask me that, Imran, why we are doing the work in iteration? What is this 2 weeks, 4 weeks? So it's not about doing the work in iterations. It's about producing something better. You have to have the agile mindset, how early you can adapt. You release something, you get the feedback, and you adapt as early as possible. Instead of just keep doing the work in iteration, 2 weeks finish, I finish the work. This is not agile. That's the difference between doing agile versus thinking of agile. So it's all about the mindset. And all the project management approaches says that if the approach you are going to use, if your organization stakeholders don't know about it, so no, don't try to do that. First, train them, guide them, foster the education with your stakeholders. Once they will to understand it, then you can do the project. Like if you are predictive mindset people and you say, no, I learned agile today from Imran and I want to implement it. It's not possible. First, you need to change the mindset of the organization. You need to let them realize, first practice it by yourself, whatever you have learned, implement it and try to get it in. Like I did 3, 4 sessions of discipline agile coach. And luckily, there was a student who was actually in a role where he needed it. So after the training, we worked together. I guided him for the consultancy and he implemented in his organization and he got promotion also. And then now he's targeting another certificate. And Imran, okay, now I want to become DAVSC, the value stream consultant. So I always welcome to all my participant aspirants that, guys, if you need any help, even after the training for implementation, I would be able to guide you. I'm not asking you any money for that. It will be a good help for you. And it will be a good thing for me so that I can guide you in a better environment. So what you learn it and implement it. If you will keep it as a learning, you will never be able to retain it into your mind. You will forget anyway. And for that agility, especially agility, we are very predictive people. We don't like changes. We hate changes actually. So the people who like changes, they want to take risk. It's better for them to work with agile because it increases their risk-taking capacity or provide more motivation towards the risk. When we say agile, then there are different methodologies of agile. Many of you were asking during the training what they are. Majority of the agile chunk is occupied in the market by Scrum, almost 60 to 70. But it was before almost reaching to 70%, not 60%. Why? Because when we had the traditional PMP, which was process-based approach, so Scrum is also process-based approach similar to that, but they have another additional thing called as empirical process, which means that okay, I have the process, but you can add the process based upon their needs. So it was highly adaptable, highly available for the teams, and it was easy because it was a process-based approach. People don't know, no need to look here and there how I have to do it, what I have to do it. So for that purpose, Scrum is very popular. Scrum is popular on a single project. Scrum is popular also at the program level or the enterprise level. You can scale it up to at any level. That is the advantage of Scrum. PM also have discipline agile. Like you heard me saying in some of the classes that when you started the train, when you have the sprint, it could be 2 weeks. And once if it is 2 weeks, it will remain 2 weeks. Like for the Scrum, if you have the iteration size 2 weeks, it will remain 2 weeks for the whole project. And if the team size is 6, so it will remain 6 for the whole project. But we call it, it's not agile. Scott Ambler, who is the creator of Agile or Discipline Agile, he said, we created Agile not for this to keep you in the closed hole. It's better to have the Agile as a flow-based Agile. So they actually call these type of process-based Agile as Agile Corporation. So they said, we never meant for Agile that you will close Agile in those things that all the projects should be done in the similar way. No, we call it tailoring as per the project. So that's where the Discipline Agile came. It was an initiative started in 2014 by PMI. For software industry, we have a very common technique methodology called as extreme programming, where we have the similar thing, but we keep it the simple small factors. And to maintain the quality, we do something called as refactoring. What is refactoring? That when someone will make the code, there will be another guy who will review the code to check, is there any redundancy? Is there any complexity? Is there any problem in the code, to simplify it before giving it to the customer? So then we can go for inspection. And in extreme programming, there is another concept of pair program. What is pair programming? That two people will be working at the same time on a code. One will be working on the logic, another one will be working on the code, let's suppose. So they will be helping each other. So ultimately, when the code is prepared, it will not be much better than a person who is doing it alone. And ultimately, after pair programming, we will be going for the refactoring. So even if they have made any mistakes, it can be resolved by themselves. And after that, we have lean productions, which is where we use Kanban, and there are many lean approaches which we use it for the development, where we reduce the waste by following the Agile Kanban principles or the lean principles. Then there is feature-driven development, that instead of having the full-fledged project, we can deliver feature by feature as per the requirement instead of keep thinking from the beginning. Then we have dynamic system development method. If someone of you is from the software industry, so we used to have this type of development, rapid development in Java time when the Java was launched. It's actually similar to that, that you will start working on those things, what are the current requirements. To have a better family, like in Scrum and in Discipline Agile, we have the team size 2 to 4 to 6 to 9 members. But Crystal Family provides us the facility that it has multiple colors. In one color, you can have 10 member. In another one, you can have 25. In another one, you can have 50. In another one, you can have 100 team members in a team, and so on. So that is called as Crystal Family of Method, based upon the type and size of project. And safe, as we discussed, purely used and also very common in the enterprise-wide information. So as I used to say that enterprise level, we use Safe, Agile, Discipline Agile, Less, Nexus, and Spotify at the enterprise level to support. So these are some types of the Agile methodologies. So what happens in predictive? We have the functionality. We have the functionality as constant, and we keep adding the resources and keep changing the time. In Agile, we have invert of it. Time and cost or resources remain fixed, and functionality keeps moving on with the help of MVP, minimum viable product, and ultimately we'll be able to deliver the product until the value is achieved. How we do it? In all the Agile methodologies, we have three common roles. One is called as product owner, who is having the capacity of business analyst, who understands the requirement of their projects in a better way. So these people collect the requirements or elicitate the requirements in the form of Apex, and Apex contains user stories. Once they will collected, they will drop all the requirements into the product backlog. And with the help of the development team, they will prioritize it. So product backlog is the property of product owner. And we have iteration backlog, which is the property of team. In product backlog, we have user stories. In iteration backlog, we have tasks. Product backlog is the property, product owner. Iteration backlog is the property of team. They can only do anything inside that. They can manage their backlogs. And then we have a team lead called as team lead, Scrum Master, and then Scrum Project Manager, or we have coach in some agile methodologies. But purpose is same: facilitate the team as a servant leader. He is a guy who is he or she is the person who is having the technical knowledge, plus they have the expertise to integrate it also to work with multiple stakeholders. So it could be the Scrum Master, Senior Scrum Master, and so on. So there are three common roles: product owner for collecting the requirements, team for providing the development, and Scrum Master to provide the governance and facilitation so everyone can work in the same framework. And in Agile, what we have? T-shaped team, which is cross-functional. One can do one thing and they can do other things also to help and support each other. We call them self-organizing because they can do their task. They can evaluate their tasks, they can estimate their tasks, they can establish their KPIs, they can resolve their conflicts. That's why we call them self-organizing team. So in Agile, we use Scrum boards, what we call them information radiators. It could be a task board, it could be the Kanban board, it could be the Scrum Man board, where we can where we can have the addition or what we call it integration of two Agile methodologies, Scrum and Kanban. So we call it Scrum Man. And every team will have their own Kanban boards, and then there will be a main board, which will be for the overall projects. So that's how the teams are working. Every team has a team lead, and if you have more than one team, so ultimately you need another one. In a Scrum, we call them Scrum of a Scrum, or in some Agile methodologies, we call them Chief Scrum Master, who is facilitating the team leads. So they are the team leads for their team, and then they will be meeting to them. So if Scrum Master is meeting their team daily, so Scrum of a Scrum will be meeting their team, let's suppose weekly. So if there are two Scrum of a Scrums, so then they will be meeting bi-weekly to discuss with another guy who's called as a Scrum of a Scrum, and you can scale up to any level. How Agile works, the first one I will explain you, it is called as iterative scheduling with backlog, where we have iterations, and we have to work in iterations. Why? We want to deliver incrementally for a new project or for a projectized organizations. So product owner brings a requirement in the form of Apex, and Apex contains user stories. Apex could be like a requirement voice or the feature voice. And ultimately, once we have our product backlog, it can be prioritized by the prioritization technique, which I will show you in the next slide. Once product backlog is ready and is prioritized after the planning meeting, so ultimately team will take the user story, which is on the top, which provide the highest value and have the highest risk. And for that, they will create iteration backlog. In Scrum, we call it sprint backlog. Because in Agile, we call it iteration. In Scrum, we call it a sprint. And in predictive, we call it phase. So in a sprint backlog, we will have tasks. And once all the tasks are designed based upon their dependencies, arranged based upon their dependencies, so sprint will start. And every day there will be a daily stand-up meeting for the team lead with the team members with three questions. What was your progress in last 24 hours? What you are going to do in the next coming 24 hours? And what are your challenges, impediments, obstacles, or blockers? There is no more discussion for that. And daily stand-up meeting purpose is to get the progress and to know the impediments. Once the user stories reach the definition of done, which means all the checklist of acceptance criteria is met, so we will do the review meeting where team will demonstrate along with the team lead to the product owner and sponsor. If they accept it, it will be released. If not accepted, it will go back to the product backlog and it will be reprioritized, or we call it groomed, or these type of words we use, refine product backlog. So these words are used to define, groom, regroom product backlog when some stories are added and some stories can be removed. And this circle will continue throughout the project. If you have multiple teams working, product backlog will remain same. And we have multiple planning meeting, multiple iteration backlog, multiple daily stand-up meetings, multiple review meetings, and multiple retrospect meeting. As per the Scrum, you must do retrospect meeting after every review meeting to understand for the continuous improvement and lesson learned and gain the consensus. What are your new ideas? Discipline Agile says if you don't need the retrospect after every sprint, don't do it. It's your choice. So that's how the iteration based Agile works. And the second one is called as our Kanban method, or we call it on demand scheduling, where the team carries the work from the immediate queue provided by the dedicated team, where operations provide them the requirements, and after analyzing, they are what expert people of their fields and so on. After reviewing, they prioritize it and they put it on the task board. So these requirements are in the queue, and for that, they have a Kanban board that to do in process, done, requires approval, or there are some remarks for that. So whatever is coming from the queue, it will be placed here. And based upon the team capacity, we will limit the work is progress, that at a particular time, we cannot have X amount of user stories more than that. If the user stories are waiting and requires approval for X amount of time, it will be considered as done. If you want, you can place them back. So that is called as pull-based scheduling or on-demand scheduling, where the purpose is to visualize the work with the help of a board called as Kanban board, and to limit the work in progress and find where are the bottlenecks happening, so you can actually understand and remove those barriers. In Kanban method or on-demand scheduling method, there is no iteration. If you will finish the work early, you can take the new work early, or you will continue working until your work is finished. So the advantage is you can keep working. You don't need to wait if you finish early for the iteration time to finish. So in on-demand scheduling, we use it actually in the operational or sustainable environment where we have continuous work. That's what we actually measure with the DevOps concept, that continuous development and continuous operations. So this was the second method of Agile to be used. So to prioritize the product backlog, we have a few techniques. Number one is simple scheme that you can prioritize by your own consensus, or you can use another method called as Moscow. I will explain you. Then there's another method called as Monopoly Money, which you guys have been playing in your childhood. Uh, it could be Monopoly Money. It could be the dot voting, that everyone will have dots, 100 dots or 100 points. And everyone, a team member will give the points to the user stories. So the user stories who have highest point, they will be ranked on the top. So what is Moscow prioritization? Moscow have, must have, should have, could have, or won't have. So the features should be, who have highest value should be on the top, then should, then could, and then won't. Won't have are those features which are not providing any values. So that's how the product backlog can be prioritized by using Moscow prioritization. Must have, should have, could have, and won't have. Won't have, it's okay for now if you want it. They are not providing values, or they are taking more amount of money than return of investments. Or you can use Kano analysis, where the features who provide excitements or delighters, or they provide exceptional value, they should be on the top. Then there are satisfiers that should be there. Then there are those features which are called as dissatisfiers. If they are not available, uh, customer or the stakeholders will be disappointed or angry that why they are not there. These are like basic things. And the fourth is called as indifferent, which means that features we don't need it, you keep it or discard it, I don't care. So this is what can analysis, which have the features of exciters or delighters, satisfiers, dissatisfiers, and indifferent features. So that's how the product backlog can be prioritized based upon Moscow, Canoe, or dot methods, or monopoly money, or simple scheme based upon our small, medium, large, whatever you want to be. So by using used techniques, you can find out that how many iterations we need to deliver how many features and how much amount of time. So you can make an initial roadmap or release map, that how much time you need, how many sprints we will need to deliver it, and we will be doing these sprints in a linear way, or we'll be doing these sprints in a sequential way. It depends on the type and dependencies of those features. So based upon the release plan, you will release as per the release once provided. Backlog the prioritization, that after you are coming back, you can add any story or remove any story or reprioritize it. This is called as refinement, grooming the backlog, or updating the prioritized backlog. And as we discussed in Agile, everything is timed, and especially Scrum. And in Scrum, the sprint sizes or iteration size is 1 to 6 weeks. Daily stand-up meeting is always 15 minutes. Planning meeting is, I told you, 2 multiplied by per week. So if it is 1 week, it will be 2 hours. If it is 2 weeks, it will be 4 hours. Review and a retrospect is 1 hour per week iterations. So that is what all the things are fixed. As we discussed, that the user story which have highest value and have highest risk, if you have actually arranged them, this is called as updated prioritized product backlog. So if you heard this name, updated prioritized product backlog, it means it has already prioritized or arranged in a manner that the user story which have the highest value and have highest risk, it will be delivered first. Similarly, for the changes, we will have anything which have highest value for the change, that change will be delivered first in terms of return of investments. And we use information radiators to manage our work in the form of Kanban boards, where we are not working in iterations. We are visualizing the work to limit the work in progress and to manage it accordingly. So we'll keep an eye on it. Or we can use our burn down charts or burn up charts. Burn down chart means how much work is remaining. Burn up chart means how much work is completed. So that was a bit of Agile, which we have been discussing throughout. And ultimately, we have concluded today's session for explanation now. And now we'll go back to solve the questions related to Agile, and some are mixed also. So let me share the screen with the questions now, so we can solve the questions related to mostly towards people and Agile based. So here's the first question on the screen. Let's try to answer it. So the question says that the team lead is having coaching sessions with a team member. Lead says, we have noticed that your work is few days late again. Team member says, it is, I took extra time to fine tune settings before handing off to the release team. Lead, okay, we have been through this for the last 4 sprints and we need to resolve it. After sprint 3, you blamed a faulty technical setup for the delay, but we found out that was not accurate. Do you think you can give us more realistic estimates next time? Team member is saying, yes, I was wrong. I thought I was giving realistic estimates, but I realized after 3 sprints. Do you want to do a planning session together so we can figure out a better way? Yes, we can do that. I know that my delay is causing a stress on the team. So these type of words when I'm reading, I should have a pop-up in my mind that what they are trying to provide. So based upon that, we have a question. The question is always in the last line, as you know. Which 2 steps in emotional intelligence has this item member just realized? So what we discuss in our classes, what is emotional intelligence? It has 5 factors or components. Out of those 5, 2 are already here. So they are quite similar. Let's check that how much you remember, that which 2 you remember, that they are correct. Kamran, yes, your answer is okay. And Ms. Gunjan, yes, this is okay. We need 2 answers because they are asking select 2 answers. So please select 2 answers. Those who have answered this, or you guys are correct. Rakesh, your second answer is okay, not the first one. SN, yes. Both answers are correct now. Nikhil, first is not correct. Faz, yes, both are correct. Jordan, first is not correct. Fayaz, last is not correct. Nadeem, first one is not correct. So the emotional intelligence says you should be able to perform the self-assessment, that what are your situations, how you can manage them, and for that, self-management. So you have to estimate what you are, so you can manage them as per required. So C and E actually are correct answer. Yeah, most of you were actually correct, or one of your answers were correct. So this is what the emotional intelligence, self-assessment, and self-management. Great, good effort. Let's go and check the next question. To improve its culture for workers and organization leadership teams wants to provide childcare services. Other services such as wellness and so on for the next calendar year. Don't try to spend your time in these type of things. They are not relevant. Means they don't be the part of exam. Try to continue on the proper hands. The team needs to decide how to implement the new service. This is the situation. Leadership wants these services in place as soon as possible, as always. The team holds a brainstorming sessions. For team holds a brainstorming sessions to implement the new services. Which two questions should the team explore to begin implementation of the services? Choose two options. Let's see that what you can find out. Exactly, majority of you are correct. Look, who is deciding? Team, right? Team has to decide that how to implement the new service. So relevant to that, yes, majority of you are correct. The part of company's growth strategy. This is not a discussion of the team. This could be a discussion of portfolios, board of directors. So it cannot be the discussion of the team. How will the company determine who is eligible for service? This is the task of leadership, not the team. How many team members and skills be required? Yes, this is the task for the team. Will the services be contracted out or maintained by company employees, like make or buy decision? So yes, it can be the part of it. Let's go next. What are the benefits of these services? This is not the task of the team. This is the task again for the leadership. So if you read the question well, you can answer it easily. So try to find the question in its appropriate wording. You will find the answer inside the question by itself. Let's go next. Our project's goal is to improve a company's customer service process through automation and staff development. The team sent initial survey to the staff to assess their satisfaction with the current process and now analyzing the responses. There are top four responses. The current process works fine. Current process needs fixing. We need better training. We do not need any more training. So which two activities should the project team perform first? You need to select two answers. Team has already conducted the survey. So there are four responses after the survey. So what you will perform? First, question is giving you the hint by yourself. What you will do first? This is the hint of one of the option. And two answers are, as you know, sorry for my words always. They are always stupid. You can easily eliminate it. Exactly, Faz, correct. Miss Hussa, second one is correct, not the first one. Asan, yes, we need two answers. Asan, please read carefully. Choose two, so choose two. First one is correct. I need second one also. Miss, yes, good. Asan, yes. Nikhil, last one, no. Nadeem Sheikh, they both are not the right options. Mustafa, first one is not. Fayaz, same. First one is not. Kamran, first one is not. Look, job satisfaction survey is already done, so you will not do it. And likelihood to recommend survey, it has nothing to do with the question. It's totally different than the questions. So A and B are out of the league. They are asking to perform first, which means they are asking about prioritization, and prioritization is Moscow diagram. And we will not perform the lesson learned, right? We are doing something new. We have already collected the data. So we'll perform the risk analysis where the risk is involved. So those who have answered C and D, yes, they are actually the correct answers. You need to look ahead. They are not asking you to go back and check. So for that, you have already done this part. It cannot be the answer, and it has nothing to do with the question also. So yes, C and D are actually the correct answers. Next, a PM has drafted a project management plan while working with the stakeholders. PM observes that the key stakeholder priorities for the scope and schedule are vastly different from other stakeholders. Key stakeholders and other stakeholders have different opinion. Key stakeholders site upgrades and user improvement in 9 months. Other stakeholders user improvement in a 3 month schedule. Stakeholder A has openly stated that a broader scope and longer schedule are necessary for project success. What should the project manager do first to get the project management plan approved? So this question is about people. Let's see what you can do. And I gave you the hint that these type of words, if you will find them, they will not be the correct answers easily. So two of those options have that word inside. And direct action will never be the correct answer. Ravana, I just said that two of the options contain a word which shouldn't be the correct answer. We don't like these type of answers. As same goes for you. The deep same goes for you. So as this one is correct, and Nadeem, we needed to select only one. Guys, I told you, I think you guys keep forgetting this word. They can never be the correct answers. Why you keep forgetting these points? I have been giving you a lot that if you find these type of words, they can never be the correct answers. And you can never proceed. You already have conflict and you will proceed, you will destroy yourself. So direct answer or direct action answer will never be the correct answer. So this is out of the league. Remaining answer is A. Ask them to present to support their arguments. I have no problem. Look, it is not my project. You hired me to do the project. So you guys settle down. Why should I? I can facilitate. Why I should do it by myself? I can negotiate. I can provide my expert opinions. But it's you who will be giving me the resources, not me. I will be just doing the work on the given plan. Always think like this. You are the project manager. You have no authority directly. It's not your project. You will not get the benefits. If program manager, yes, you should be concerned. You are project manager. They ask you to make the building. If they want your opinion, give them the opinion. It's their option. They like it, they don't like it. It's not your problem. You gave it your word. Now they should decide. It should be done in 3 months. It should be done in 9 months. It's not my money. It's your money. You decide how you want to do that. So think like this. Don't try to go in just simple meanings of English. Because if you will try to answer in simple meanings of English and you don't have this back end engine already connected, then your answer will always be wrong because you are searching. Sorry to say, sometimes I heard from some student, sir, I felt it was looking great with this option. I feel the English is good here. I said, you are doing the question answer or you are doing the makeup or ingredients of a dish that the salt will be good or the sugar will be good or this sauce will be good. We are not cooking the dishes here. We are not doing any makeups or saloon thing here. We are answering the questions relevant to the question. So please stick to the questions with the concept. Without the concept, your answer will be wrong. I told you, Kamran, all. Just to reiterate my words again and again, because there are some new people here again. New means those who came back after a long time, accept, reject, ignore, must, all, every, any, and direct action, anything which have direct action, they will never be the correct answer. Make this tool in your life. Every, any, all, must, accept, reject, ignore, direct action. These type of words will never be the correct answer. It will help you a lot to eliminate wrong answers very quickly and to reach to the right answer very easily. Look, proceed. Proceed is what? Direct action. Direct action will never be the correct answer. You have to understand, you have to review it, you have to perform the impact analysis. It's not like you're a kid and someone will ask and you will do it. No, you have to evaluate it, you have to analyze it, you have critical thinking skills, you have analyzing skills, you have decision making skills. Any, sorry, it's not X, it's Y, any. So these words, try to eliminate these answers easily. Great, let's move. An agile team has identified several risks during their last retrospect, including the chance of hiring a contractor to double the speed of something. And look, these type of words don't emphasize a lot on the things. It's not your problem. What is the name of the organization? What they do? That's not your problem. Your task is project. During the next iteration, how should the team classify this risk? Emergent, issue, threat, opportunity. They are saying risk, right? They are saying risk. So your approach should be what? Issue cannot be the answer because issue will come after the risk. Now remaining are emergent, threat, and opportunity. What do you will think? Including the chance of hiring. Chance goes in the bad way or in the good way? This is the word. Exactly, Kamran. I have a chance she will say yes or he will say yes. It's an opportunity, guys. It cannot be a threat. You should take it as an opportunity. There is 1% chance she will say yes or he will say yes. Chance means positive thing. There is a chance I will pass. It's a positive thing. It's not negative thing. So answer is 100% in the question. Just learn how to solve it. It will come by, I'm not saying solve 10,000 questions. No, the questions which are on simulator, they are more than enough. A team is halfway complete. I don't care what they are. Okay. The team is working well together and optimistic about their goals, having significant personal issues, and lost many of technicians to startup that were offering great salaries. So, because of those conflicts and good salaries, many team members have left. To make it worse, VP requests you to the team most senior technical resource. So you don't have the resources. And from those available resources, there's another good resource which VP is requesting from you. Now, what you will do as a team, ask the VP if the resource can be shared until the streamlining project is complete. Make the case for keeping the resource to ensure project outcomes are realized. Reallocate the team member to manufacturing and hire two generalists for streamlining. Outsource that resource responsibilities on the team to a specialist. I told you in the last slide, direct action will never be the right answers. So in this situation, two answers are with the direct actions and two answers are bit relevant, but you need to understand that you are working in which situation you are working in projectized or in metrics. Which type of organization you are working? Is it functional, projectized, or metrics? What do you feel? When you read the question, what you felt? You are working in projectized or metrics or functional? For a major new project, it means you guys have been doing the project, so it cannot be functional. And because you are working under VP, so it cannot be projectized. So it's metrics organization. If you know these ground rules, you will have enough time to answer the questions. So now, what is the answer for this question, please? Whether the yes, Fayaz, no. Fayaz, you are going as a functional thing. He is manager, manager. Keep him manager. Don't let him come on your head. Although it's a good approach, I'm not saying this is wrong. That's what we do in our real life, actually. But compromises are not very good all the time. So best answer, which is feasible here, many of you have already answered, is D. We do this in real life. Okay, just to keep the manager happy that, okay, I follow your order and I will not take, I will give you also and I will keep for mine. This we do in our real life. When we are answering the questions, we are from the PMI side, not from our organization or personal experiences. So yeah, this is the case. Look, that's what the famous quote is. If you want to make everyone happy, then open the pizza shop. Don't work in leadership. Although you are actually on the threat of losing the job, but while you are in the exam, you have to adapt accordingly. At a company party, people are having a friendly, open conversation. Which team is fastest? And I think when I read this question, I have an answer in my mind directly. One person laugh and say team A has velocity of 20, team B is 40, team B will always be receiving bonuses. How you will react? In Agile, do we have this competition in Agile? Just answer me this question. Do we have this type of competition in Agile? Yes or no? Exactly, no. So once we have this competition as null and void, so now you know the answer. Great. Be embarrassed. These type of words will never be the correct answer. If you have this type of word in any question, they can never be in the correct statements. Say nothing, it's a party could be a good option. Let's go read further. Ask that person how they know this. We are not solving a financial or criminal case. I don't know what is written. This is enough to eliminate. I don't care what is there. Say nothing. Okay, another say nothing because each team has its own capacity. So now you know the answers. You have already eliminated the wrong choices. Now you left over with the correct one. So which one you will select? Yes, majority of your answers are correct. One is more better answer than the first one, which is actually D. Correct. We have 4 minutes. Let's exploit it. Let's do one more question before we close down. Enterprise has partnered with the company to deliver something. Did you see how I read the question? The results are reviewed each month. They have been clear about their preferences and tolerances and SLA. What is the best tool to monitor the delivery of product? This is the question. Scatter diagram, control chart, affinity diagram, or cause and effect diagram. Cause and effect diagram is used for the problem, right? To solve a problem or to find the cause of the problem. What was affinity diagram? Anyone remember? Categorizing or grouping. Very good. So it means they both cannot be the answer. What was the meaning of a scatter diagram? What was the keyword? To find a relationship between two variables. We use scatter diagram. So if you know the answers, means if you know the points. So ultimately one answer is left, which is control chart. Monitor and control, upper limit and lower limit and mean value. So in that case, B is actually the correct answer. Still have good time, keep going. An agile team is nearing the end of the project and has been able to complete all stories and deliver value to the client. However, the coach has noticed that the coding standards are not up to the par. What should the team do? Update the definition of done. Whose responsibility is this? Who can update the definition of done? Who have this authority? Who have the authority to update the definition of done or definition of ready? Exactly. It's the task of product owner. And what we are discussing, team. So it cannot be the correct answer. Who deals with the customer directly? Team. Team deal with the customer directly. Team. Don't say sponsor, sponsor in the predictive one. Add the work to the backlog. Who add the work in the backlog? Team or product owner? Exactly. Look, you are going one by one by eliminating the choices. So one answer is left. Update the code during the sprint dedicated to ensuring quality. Who will tell me that which sprint we run, where we check the quality? What we call that is sprint or iteration. There is a name of that iteration, which is dedicated to ensuring quality. What we call that is iteration. No, 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 no. Iteration. Retrospect is not iteration. Retrospect is a meeting. Quality control is the predictive one. Yeah, we do it for quality control, but what we call in Agile, this iteration. No, there is a name for the iteration. There are two iterations. Iteration 0 and iteration H. Iteration 0 is done for the setup or to find a risk based upon a spike. So that we run the iteration as a spike to find out how much risk is involved and the setup things and so on. There are two spikes, risk-based spikes or architecture-based spikes to check how much risk is involved. And iteration 0 is done to make the setup of the things like installing the software before making any productions. Iteration H is the definition of this. To ensure there is a dedicated sprint where we ensure the quality. This sprint or iteration is called as iteration H. Iteration H. Audit is done before the things. There is no iteration. So a sprint or iteration, which is dedicated for the quality control, is called as iteration H. So thank you very much for your time. I was very glad to have so many people today in the session. I hope that we will maintain the same spirit and we will finish it over hopefully inshallah by Thursday. So you guys can go with full speed from Friday by doing the simulator exams directly. So thank you very much again. I will open the mic if someone wants anything else. See you tomorrow, same time, 7:30. Take care then. Bye.